Hi, my name is Denise Heckel. I am Studio D Pottery, and I have a booth at Art Studio Maine in Buchanan, West Virginia, which is a fantastic gallery. If you haven't been in there, you definitely need to make a trip. Some incredible artists are represented in that gallery. I primarily do art pottery, so I do pottery with a bit of a twist. Instead of using 2 or 3, maybe 4 colors, I can use up to 20 colors on each item. I use texture, I use antique lace, leaves, flowers, anything with any kind of texture that I can transfer over. I do it. I love it. I love the way it turns out. Here is an example of one of my pieces. This is a tray. So you can use this for food. It is totally food safe. You can use it for crackers, bread. It is one of my best sellers. This one is kind of a fall theme. It's got the sunflowers and the pumpkins on it, and some grapes, a little bit of everything. There's different textures throughout this. I've used lace, stamping, some carving, and then I think about 12 different colors are in this one. So that shows a little bit of the difference in what my pottery represents versus another potter that is not an art potter. So either one's fantastic, just depends on your taste and what you like. So here is another example of one of my pieces. This is just a large bowl, and it's got, if you'll notice, texture on half of it, and then kind of a line of texture here. And then this is all smooth and solid. Each piece does clean up very well. They are all food safe. You can use them. And my whole thing is, when you have a piece of my pottery, I want you to keep it. I want in 10, 12, 20 years, I want you to hand it down to your children and they to cherish it just as well. You know, I want to kind of make more future heirlooms versus, something that's just a fad for today and gone in a week or two and you've lost interest in it. So that's kind of where I, heartfelt, that's where it is for me. I was raised, my mom is a toll painter and she's 83 years old and she still paints to this day. So I think I learned a lot of my artistic skill definitely comes from her. My dad did furniture and my mom painted, and we did the craft show circuit every year, all year long. In between them working, she worked for the school system. My dad worked for a lumber mill. And then in nights and weekends, they would work. And then part of the year we would travel and go to all these different shows. Me and my brother, she would drag us around. We're the youngest of 6. And we were the youngest ones that needed to be kind of watched, so we both kind of got into art. And then, that's where my love of painting definitely comes from. So today we are going to learn a technique called sgraffito, and that means to etch away. So here in a minute, I'm gonna pause this so I can get it flipped around to where you can watch me. So basically, I just cut a piece of clay that starts like this, big old chunk, cut a piece off of it, roll it out, and then paint it with some underglaze. And then when that dries, we will etch it away and just make whatever design kind of comes. And it will be food safe as well. So once it will be fired, it'll actually get fired twice. It'll go through a bisque fire, and then when that comes out, I will, because I'm going to do black and white. So this clay is going to be white when it gets fired. It comes out as a white, and the underglaze I'm using on it is black. So that when I etch away, what you will see is the white undertones, and then it will get glazed a clear glaze, and we'll go through another firing. So here in a few minutes, that's what we will look at. So if you are interested in finding out more about me or about the art I do, or possibly ordering anything, you can check me out at studiodpottery.com or email me at studiodpottery@gmail.com, or get a hold of Art Studio Maine. I work there at least once a month, and you can also get a hold of me by leaving me a message there. All of us help each other out, and if you want to make a special order, that is always welcome. We can do that. I do, like I said, I do the pottery. I also do clay jewelry, and I will show you a few of those towards the end of the video. And if you can think of anything that you would want more information on, you know, or like I said, ordering, please contact me. I'm not the best video maker, but we will carry on. Thank you. Okay, so I have my piece of clay laid out. I have the shape I want it to be. So we will just cut the shape out. Remove the excess clay, which can be later used as handles or whatever we want to use it for. And then take a damp sponge and clean off the edges, just so that it is smooth to the touch. Now, and then we'll get the canvas look off of it, so let's do that. Okay. And then normally this takes a little bit more time, but today I'm just gonna do kind of the condensed version of it. So this is underglaze, and underglaze is what you can use in your first firing, which is called a bisque fire, and that is what I'm going to use today. So I'm using black underglaze on this, and the clay is raw. It's a little bit soft right now. It will harden up before we can carve on it. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get the underglaze on here so that we have it and it can dry on there. And then, so I got into pottery, at this point I'm not even sure how long ago it's been, probably 10, 12 years. Was working really long hours, and my husband got the classes for me at the Art Center in Elkins as a gift to help me relieve stress. And being from an art family, like I said, my mom is a toe painter, and she is 83 and still paints to this day. And I have many aunts who were always very artistic, brothers and sisters that are artistic. And it just kind of, I guess, was basically ingrained in us. It was kind of in our blood. And we did the whole craft show circuit growing up. My mom would toe paint, my dad would make furniture, and we would go, that was back before the time of Walmart and all these huge, big box stores. And, the mall was an hour away and people just didn't go very often. So everybody kind of looked forward to going to these craft shows. Okay, so our piece is dry and ready to go. So I kind of freehand things. You could, if you wanted to try this, kind of draw it out ahead of time on tracing paper and then lay it on top and do it that way. Personally, I kind of like just to let things kind of just come out the way they do. So we will just start from there. So as you can see, it's somewhat dry. You don't want it too dry. You want to be able to at least move through it. So this is what we call sgraffito. So bear with me just a second and let me get started here. So as you can see, the lines kind of come through, and you can see the white underneath. And this, I'm going to just make these impressions. And I like there's lots of different tools that you can get. So some of them make a little bit wider, some of them make more narrow. I kind of like to alternate and use different ones kind of throughout the whole process. So this is going to be a large tray when we're done. And of course, like I said, it will be food safe, so it can be used. It'll be a nice platter. So we will just edge this away. There we go. It's there we go. A little bit wet still there. So, and then do this. And as you can tell, I'm kind of doing a version of leaves. So However, my version of leaves are always a little bit different. So I like to then add different lines. So we're going to do some lines here. And then some shapes. So, like I said, I love texture. And I think it's what makes something yours. It's kind of like when you're baking a pie and you can just throw it together, or you can get a little, you know, a little bit more creative with it and add stuff to it. And I don't know, I always just kind of overboard on everything. So that's kind of just what I am like personally. So, and then when this gets done, it will have a really shiny clear glaze on it, and it'll make everything kind of pop. So just do this. As you can see, there is really no big technique. It's just what works and what you want the end look to look like. So, and you can do as much scratching off or etching as you want, or you can just do little bits like this. So, and that also creates a raised texture that you can actually feel with your fingers. So there is that option. And you can also come back, and I do that sometimes with a high fire glaze after it's been fired once, and actually add like colors. Like I would maybe put green here and some spots of red here, which it still may end up that way. You know, that's the beauty of pottery and clay. There really, to me, isn't any wrong way of decorating. It's however you want to do it in the look that you want to achieve. And sometimes you don't achieve the look you originally started out with, and that's okay, because that's just happy little issues, and that turn out sometimes to be the best surprises. So as you can see, those are all turning out very different. And get to the next portion here in just a minute. So do these just like standard leaves. And as you can see, I love nature, like to add it pretty much in anything. I think it's what we resonate with, what we understand, and what we see. You know, it's in our everyday life, and I think it gives us comforting feeling to see those things. So there we have that, and then we can maybe add some flowers. That sounds good. So we are going to add some flowers. So we can do this, and then we can do this. And then, you know, and you don't have to be a fantastic artist to try this or to attempt it. You know, I had no one to teach me how to do sgraffito. I basically taught myself. I read up on it, watched a few videos, and then kind of went from there and taught myself how to do it. And let's do this there. And Okay, so there is a flower. And let's maybe do a different kind. So let's do one maybe with a few more. And these I will actually probably go back in on and add some color here. So let's see. And then we want to make the center. There we go. And there we are. And there's that one. So, and we can maybe just go back in and add, where's my sharp? A little bit of a line here. Just to give it some detail. And of course we only have 2 flowers, so now I think that we need one more, or possibly more than even that. So let's do this, and then we will do, this one is going to be etched up, up, and up. There we go. Kind of do like almost like a sunburst on this one. You know, good thing about flowers, there's so many different kinds, and I don't really pick a kind to just do. It's kind of whatever just shows up in my imagination, in my mind. And I think we've seen enough flowers around that we kind of have an idea. Our brain memorizes it, so we will know what we will. So let's do that, and then show a little bit of, let's get that a little bit more textured there, so it's a little bit easier flow into that. And then just go down here and maybe make a smaller one, just like it. Then I think we need a backdrop of something. So let's do what do we want to do here? So let's do another flower here. And this one. So as you can see, nothing is really perfect. That's what I love about hand-built pottery and sgraffito, is that it's just organic in its nature. You know, it just is what it is. It flows together and flows together well. And the end result is always gorgeous. Never seen a piece I didn't like or didn't turn out well, no matter what, you know, you think at the beginning. It's just wild in its own, and just kind of takes a life of its own. It becomes what it's supposed to become without a lot of thought. And I think that's the best thing about art, is that it doesn't take tremendous amount of thought to do it. It just comes out the way it's meant to be. And to me, that's one of the most wonderful things about it. So here we go. You can see it right here. And then I feel almost like this side is a little bit heavy versus this side. So maybe I will make another leaf. Let's make this one quite large, so it kind of is protecting all the others. So there we go. And put this down. There we go. And there. And we will take a little bit of veins through this one. So I think that this will turn out gorgeous. I think it will be quite spectacular in its own way. So there's the tray. And now you have learned how to do sgraffito. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you will pop into Artistry on Main and visit us there and talk about art and all the wonderful things are out there. I know this is kind of a tough time for everybody and that things are a little crazy, but we'll all be all right, and in the end we'll be together just like we always have been. And stay safe and come by and see us. Thanks.